This vehicle is the 50 TP prototype. This is a Polish Tier 8 heavy tank. It's also either a reward tank or a gift tank. We'll talk more about that later. This vehicle it's kind of an average tank. There's nothing special about it. It's not overpowered. The only thing that's special about it is the lower plate happens to be very well armored. But other than that, it falls average with all the other tanks in Tier 8. It is a closed auction, which means you place a bid and you have 8 hours to change your mind. You can change your bid as many times as you want over the course of 8 hours. The minimum is 5,000 gold, and you cannot see the other bids. You just have to kind of guess as to what you want to do. You're probably going to have to bid quite a bit more. There's a lot of people who are going to go after this with the 5,000 gold. There's only 1,500 items. That's why the price is going to go up. You can see it looks like, obviously, the other Polish heavy tank, and it's got similar style, similar play style to the Chinese and the Russian heavy tanks, such as the IS-6, for example. It's got the side skirt. The armor on the side is actually very thin. It's not going to offer a lot of protection. It does have extra credits per game, which means it is a premium tank. You get extra free EXP and extra crew experience. And you can use your Polish crew, which is commander, gunner, driver, loader, no radio operator. We're going to look at some similar vehicles. The 50 TP prototype is on the left. You can see the penetration is actually quite low. The IS-6 has very low penetration, but remember, some vehicles had special matchmaking. So 218 is average for Tier 8. And if we look all the way across, you can see that 218 fits in the average, with the exception of the T34, which is 248. With regular rounds, the T34 has the highest penetration, and along with the gold rounds. In fact, the gold rounds of the 50 TP PR is similar to the regular rounds of the T34. That's one of the things you want to be aware of. If you look at this value over here, you can see it only brings you up to 245, which means the regular rounds on the T34 are actually a little bit higher than the gold rounds of the 50 TP PR. In terms of armor, the turret comes in at 210, which is kind of common. It's a common number. It's a medium number, a middle number in the middle, not a high number. T34 has a high number at 279. We got 250 for the Defender, 250 for the 53 TP, so it's similar to the 53 TP, although that lower plate at 170 is the highest of the group that I selected. And then when we look at the top speed, it's 35. 35 is the slowest of all the vehicles, and the fastest is 45. So you can see that the 50 TP is just kind of an average Tier 8 heavy tank. There's really nothing special about it. When you equip these vehicles, you want to check your aim time. This comes at 2.88. Let's look at through the comparison, see how it compares to everybody, which is over here 2.88. You can see that it's actually better than a lot of these vehicles. However, you look at this 2.01 with the 53 TP, 2.01 is really good, and anything over 3 is really bad. 2.88 is pretty close to 3. It's not a good aim time. So you're probably going to have anything to stabilize the gun, such as the vertical stabilizer, the improved aiming module, the gun laying drive, etc. The dispersion is 0.38. That's kind of average. That's a very common number. Nothing good about it. There are tanks that have better numbers. The view range is 380. That's really just another common number. Nothing special about it. So you can see it's just kind of an average Tier 8 premium heavy tank, with the exception of that piked frontal armor. And you do have the spaced armor on the side, which means that it will give you protection against heat rounds and high explosive rounds. when you are trying to do a mission to do damage blocked by armor, you can over angle a little bit. But in my experience, you really can't over angle that much unless you have a super heavy tank like the Type 5 Heavy, the Mouse, etc., that has really thick side armor. So it's going to have to be your choice. You're going to have to decide if you think you want this vehicle. Remember, because it's in the Polish tech tree, look at the Polish tech tree. You've got heavy tanks in the Polish tech tree. I've already played through the Tier 8, and you've got medium tanks in the Polish tech tree. So you'll be able to share your crew and help level them up, starting with actually Tier 7. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments, please post below.